episode of Sessions with Mary Jane. I am here, Jordan Freed, recently fried as of the last 15 minutes ago. And we are here with a very special musical guest. Give it up for Al Vine.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
For those who don't know, he was instrumental in the Late Night Hump, LNH Studios music video Object Work, and he has illustrious music outside of that. But if you listen to that and you were like, whoa, what was going on here? Why is this amazing? He had a lot to do with that.
Thank you.
So welcome onto the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm really appreciate it. I've been excited about this for a long time, and we're finally here, so let's go.
Cool. So if you've never heard Sessions with Mary Jane, we always give people a challenge just to keep them on their toes when they're a little stony baloney. So today we're just going to have you in the background. You're just going to name audio effects.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, so like whatever you think of them, you can just name them. It's not too pressure filled. Like sometimes people boycott it. Sometimes people get 152, but that was very rare.
I'll do a few. Something simple.
So where did you grow up?
So I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I moved throughout New Jersey, North Jersey for a little bit. Nothing crazy. Newark, Elizabeth, Irvington. But mainly the Newark area. I mean, it's a pretty, I wouldn't say it's pretty big, but it's pretty populated. And I mean, I just ended up here. How else do I say? My father's from Nigeria. My mom's from North Carolina. So it's a pretty random, plot. But it's a great place, I'll say. And I used to say this when I was younger. I always have property here because we go through the least natural disasters. I think that I won't quote it as a fact, but I've noticed that. I'll say that most. So yeah, that's a funny random fact, but whatever.
No, I think that's very important. We're a very New Jersey-based podcast, and I think existential dread has gone through a lot of people's minds. So come to Jersey for a little laugh.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the best vacation place, but a nice getaway, I suppose, quote unquote. But yeah, man, I really think Newark is a special place. I could talk about the riots. I could talk about people who've grown up here and who are vital in music and have had their own influence in their own time. But other than that, like Jersey is also industrial and right next to New York, so we're talking like baby New York. New York kind of suns us a lot, but what can we do? It's a special place too. But yeah, Jersey.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did you get started in music?
I've always loved music since I was a kid, like since as early as I can remember. See, when I was young, my dad was into music too, but he's from Nigeria, so his music is different. Like he liked ABBA, Bob Marley. My dad liked DMX randomly. He had a few of his albums. So I grew up listening to different music, and then of course African traditional music. It's I can't even begin to explain how different that type of music is from what I listen to every day now. Even Afrobeats music is just completely traditional, you know what I mean? So I grew up listening to a wild palette, and then it's just I don't know, I'm naturally attracted to it. I've always been in tune in terms of listening, singing. I've always liked beats. I've always liked classical, Japanese traditional. So it's not just not just hip-hop, R&B that I'm attracted to. That's what I do, you know what I mean? That's what I produce. But in terms of the music that I like and what influences me, I have so many influences from different directions. And that's the main reason why I fell in love with it. It's such a vast world. And everybody loves music. Everybody can understand it, even if they don't particularly, like a specific genre or type. They might still understand that something is sad or something is happy. So, yeah.
When did you first realize that people were doing an act? That the music in the world was created for this is a fake thing. And,
yeah.
It's a larger than life thing.
Yeah, sometimes I go in and out on that because it depends on the artist. and why they create the music and what they create the music for, and even then our interpretation of that too. It's like, how do I answer that? That's so that's a hard question.
No, it like came to me in the moment, and I was like, I've never asked a musician this.
It's like I understand that music is a universal language, but that in itself is still just something that we create to entertain ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
So like it does have a language, it can influence, and it's something that we can use for communication, but it still is a tool at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess when you look at it like that, it can be put that way, but it just depends on how you view it, I suppose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did your parents play any musical instruments?
No, honestly, not that I can recall. Maybe when my father was younger, but I don't know too much about it. Not my mom, I'm sure. Although my mom enjoys singing. And on my mother's side of the family, I would say my dad's too, but not as much as my mom. She's like Southern type of gospel type of music. So they're singing in the family on her side, no question. And music, people who make music on that side of the family too. But that's more recent now. And I'm not including myself. That's like her side of the family. Whereas my dad is like more traditional church-based, like Catholic type of music, like, how do I say, hymns, that type of music. And he can carry a note. So I hear him sing, and he likes music a lot. I think he really, really loves music. Michael Jackson was a big one for him too. And Michael is like, don't even get me started. So yeah, like they both were into music, but instruments, no. I definitely was the first, unless they did recorder. But hey, that doesn't really count. I don't think that counts. No.
Do you think there's any universal quality of all good music?
If you could dance to it, simple.
Oh, wow.
If you could dance to it, yeah. Everybody can dance. Everybody likes to move to some. Well, some people say that they don't. I've met a few people, but if something can make somebody move, yeah.
Are you a dancer as well?
Yeah, 100%. Not like I'm not like professional or taught. Like I've taken ballet before. Don't tell nobody. No, I'm playing. But I enjoy dancing. I enjoy moving my body to the music naturally, like just flailing, if even, you know what I mean. I actually enjoy that. It's fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Were you always a natural, or did you have to teach yourself?
Like with music?
With dancing.
Oh shit.
Like, was there an embarrassing phase that you were like, I don't want to dance?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. And even still sometimes, like, I'm not a natural. It's weird because I'm naturally athletic, but I'm not a natural dancer, but I like to dance. Yeah. I would say yeah.
When you decided to start getting into, like, the process of making music and all of that, how did you decide what direction you wanted to go? Like, how did you know what was your style of music?
Naturally, hip hop and R&B, it was attractive to me, and it was more R&B that got me to love music because of the different instrumentation. Like 90s music is the golden era, and we talk about rap and we talk about R&B, and 80s too is just magnificent. So the combination of instruments made me fall in love with the instrumentation. With rap, I just like the genius of being able to put words together with different flows. I think it's amazing, and I credit every single rapper because they're all different. You know, they all approach it differently. Oh, yeah. I would say, I'm sorry, you said my approach to putting together music, like when did I start?
Yeah, like how did you decide that hip-hop and R&B was the direction you wanted to go?
Just naturally, I was attracted to it. It was what I heard the most. I mean, that's the community that I grew up in. I did hear the type of music that my dad listened to, and it kind of put a twist on my love for music, but that was what I heard the most. So it was like, oh, I love this. It's amazing, yeah. And then me going towards it is just also natural. I hear it the most, I want to replicate that. And then I want to try and be good at it and create my own version of it if possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who were some of the rappers who, like, spoke to you growing up? Like, specifically what they were saying was what you were fucking with.
I liked the Flash. I've always been more attracted to the East Coast rap because I was over here. and they're more flashy. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say I'm not flashy. I don't try to do the most, you know, but I'm attracted to that Jay-Z, you know, nice car talk. Not so much jewelry, but like what you have, what you own, what you can do, who you're with. That type of stuff that was always attracted to me when I was younger. But then as I started getting older into my teens, I started learning about rappers like Immortal Technique. Let me see. Who else? I'm blanking out right now. Related to Jay-Z. I'm blanking. It's okay. Nas is another one that I listened to a lot when I was younger. Africa Bombada is like really, really old, but that was one that caught my ear, like the techno sound and rap. That was very early though. Very, very early in hip hop. Who else can I think about? If I could talk about now, like influences like Drake, maybe. That was when I was in my teens. I really liked the way that he put music together, but then put his feelings into music more so than talking about like fighting or violence or, you know, so much of the braggadocious talk. It's more like, let me talk to you about life and things that I'm going through or things you might be going through. And then I fell in love with his music, and that like, he took off. Of course, he's still who he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my biggest influence probably. I could keep going on and on, I swear, about that,
well,
though.
Maybe we'll get back to that
Yeah.
in the future of the interview.
Yeah,
I'm looking into my crystal ball. I feel like that's not the last rapper we'll talk about.
Awesome.
I was going to say, who are some of the people that you started hanging around with in Jersey that like really got you inspired and got you making music?
So first, it was my older brother. He goes by Official Maj, or went by Official Maj. And his music, well, Maj Flamel now, his music and his influence in terms of what I learned about music and rap was huge for me because that was very early. That was like 13, 14, 15, 16-ish. Oh, yeah. And like that's vital for every little kid if they're gonna do music. Like that era is like, holy shit, what are you listening to? Are you listening to Eminem? Are you listening to Dr. Dre, 50 Cent? Do you like gangster rap? Do you like creative rap? Do you like abstract rap? Do you like braggadocious rap like I talked about earlier? Biggie Smalls maybe, you know what I mean? So I learned a lot about many different palettes with him. And then right after I started making music with him, out of high school, I joined a group called AMG Music. That was what they originally called themselves when I joined. And it was very early, but we ended up changing the name to the Rebel Clan. Okay. And that was the name that we went by for a while and ended up gaining some traction and getting popular in Jersey. Yeah, and that was huge because not only, I wouldn't say that they... I wouldn't say that they influenced so much as they gave an outlet for me to create music. You know what I mean? Because I had already had all the influences and the ideas, and I've been writing music for so long. I've been writing lyrics for years already. I've been writing lyrics for a long, long time. To like, I think the first song I ever wrote lyrics to was "Run This Town" by Jay-Z, Rihanna, Kanye. Like, I wrote over the beat because I couldn't find any instrumentals, you know what I mean? So I had been writing for a while, and with them, it's like, okay, now I get to express what I can do and show. And I started killing shit, honestly. My first song that I released was with my brother and an artist that he knew. That was the first rap verse I ever put out. And once I put that out, people in my school were like, oh, like, yeah, okay. You're doing something nice. You're good enough to at least catch my attention. Keep going. And then with the Rebel Clan, I started releasing more sentimental music. Like I said, that's more of my preference, the R&B / hip hop type of feel. And I started releasing music like that and rap, and people started catching the vibe, you know? So I was like, you know, this is something that I definitely like doing. It was more about the attention at the time, though. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of people can get hooked on that. So I gained some maturity with the Rebel Clan, too. We all matured a little bit together and had some great experiences. And ended up separating at a time, of course. Like, I'm a solo artist now. But, like, that was the biggest.
What were some of the, like, events and, like, moments from that era?
Let me see. I mean, you have, like, your performances around the city. Nice. Or around, like, Newark, East Orange. That was where we were based, East Orange.
Nice.
You have stuff around the city.
What were some of the poppin' venues?
Let me see. Can I think of? There's one downtown. I think it's called the Cage or something like that. I might be wrong about the name, but that was one venue that we popped out at. A few popular artists, but that's more like I don't like more like hood vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like hood rap. Like I wouldn't say really grungy, but they'll get down if they need to. That's the type of venue that was.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest venue that we've ever been to was the South by Southwest performance. Of course, like we went out to Texas. I got lucky because we had spring break for college. I'm like perfect because I didn't want to miss school. Of course. Me being the only one in school at the time. Two of us started off in school, but then one dropped, of course. But yeah, like I didn't want to miss. I got lucky with spring break week, and we went out there and we had a few performances for like Ambrosia. What else? My Mixtapes is another one that we performed for, and it was just like a great learning experience. I would say we got humbled for sure. We weren't prepared in terms of performance. I'm just being honest. Like this is what goes on. This is like what years ago, so I can be open about it now and recognize. Sure. So we just weren't prepared for the performance, and I think that humbled us, but then let us know like, okay, there's a lot more work to be done if we want to do this. And it taught me like a lot about the group as a whole and myself and what music industry was versus just music, right? So then it's like, okay, we have to take a different approach to this. Or maybe I have to take a different approach to this. I started thinking more about like what was going on in my life and how I could approach music differently because what I saw was different from what I wanted to create, I suppose. Yeah, and that South by Southwest trip was like the greatest trip that I probably ever been on besides like going to visit my family in Africa. I don't know. Like it was huge, bro.
Oh yeah, that's one of the legit festivals.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was
That's a big deal.
Like that shit was huge. It was in Texas that year. It was crazy. There was a shootout.
Oh damn.
It was like a freaking crazy, like I would say a stampede of people just rushing in one way. We were a part of that. It was like I got stories for that shit was bro. It's crazy, bro. Yeah.
Wow. What did you want to focus on when you went to your solo career now? And shifted into that?
I would say, how do I say this? Like, making sure that I'm authentic in what it is that I put out and what I create. Because when I was phasing out of the Rebel Clan group, I was starting to put out music again for attention or to just get clicks, views, and stuff like that. And that was the influence of the group I felt. No disrespect to them. Like it is what it is at the time. But I realized that, and I'm like, you know, if I'm gonna put out music, I want to put out music that sounds like me, not like what an artist sounds like now, so I can get attention. Because it's not about the attention; it's about the creation. I already know I'm talented and creative enough to create something good, but what quality am I gonna deliver to the people? And that's what mattered to me the most. And how am I gonna represent myself? Because I can put out something to make the group grow, or I can put out something to help myself grow as an artist and as a person possibly. And that's just the way I see it. Like I don't separate my artistry from my life. And I think that it's very important to do that. And if you look at your art as a part of your life, it becomes more than a product. It becomes more than something that you just sell. It makes it more important. It is still a product, I understand that, but then you put more energy into it, more discretion into it, I would say. Yeah. Better discretion into it. There we go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say are like the prime New Jersey values as somebody who's kind of bopped around New Jersey your whole life?
Grit. We are New Jersey, and that's who we are. You know, we're not New York, we're not Pennsylvania, we're not trying to be like them. We represent our creativity, and it looks different in everybody. It doesn't look like one thing coming from New Jersey, because New Jersey is very diverse, versatile, and powerful. Like I said, it's industrial. It's right next to New York, and New York is one of the havens for music, but so is New Jersey. I can name artists from here too. Erykah Badu, Queen Latifah. I can name a few, you get what I'm saying, that are really old, vital artists that still play a vital part beyond music today because of their influence and what they did early. we're talking movies, we're talking, I could name music videos, of course, too, but so many things, conversations, podcasts, speeches, like, you know what I mean? So this New Jersey is a powerful place, and we generate some great artists that are very influential, because I think that New Jersey, it shows you a lot too, just like New York does. I mean, it's hard not to compare the two. You know what I'm saying? New York is way bigger, of course. I'm talking about a certain section of New York too, like the boroughs.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, New Jersey is just original.
Oh, yeah.
It's just original. So is everybody else. But we have a style that I don't think can be replicated by anybody else, even New York.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did beat them on the weed front.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
We were the first to legalize weed,
which is good, because they're gonna follow. They're gonna follow. I have a very strong feeling that that's gonna follow up, but we'll see. What
was the first legal moment you had of weed?
Legal moment?
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
so
shit.
I had to ask him a new question because we talked about other shit.
You know what I'm saying? My first legal moment wasn't any different from my illegal. Forgive me. I rolled up in the whip and I went on a ride, and I was like, finally. And I mean, even that is not, I'm not supposed to do that technically, so I just told myself, but still, like, it felt better knowing that I'm smoking and I'm not going to get arrested for having or possessing. Like, cool. All right, let me go back home and watch Netflix or something. You know what I mean? Just, it was a cool, chill moment, and I appreciate it more than what the moment showed, basically, because I'm so used to smoking.
How did the weed life choose you? How did you decide that was for you?
Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking go. Great story. So, it was always in me, bro. Ever since I heard Wiz Cushion Orange Juice, I was like, I need to try that shit. I know that that's for me. It's all, I swear, like, that's always what it's been. I've heard of so many other drugs. I just told you earlier, I don't really care for drinking like that. Like, but when I heard about weed, and I'm like, I'm imagining what it does. I'm like, it makes you laugh. It makes you hungry. It, like, kind of dazes you. And I'm like, I'll fuck with that. Let's see. And yeah, I've never turned back. I think my first experience ever, this is going to be hilarious. My first experience ever, I was at prom, right? So I went to prom by myself. I won prom king. I was supposed to have a date.
Wow.
I was supposed to have a date, didn't have a date. Came by myself, won prom king. I was surprised, whatever. We had an after party. We went to a hotel. So some people went to a bigger hotel, which probably would have been smarter. Probably wouldn't have had the cops come to the hotel if that was the case. And some of us went to the smaller one. So I went to the smaller one, more intimate setting, you know. And they had weed and they had liquor for the first time that I had ever been around anybody from high school. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We're gonna do this. So I took a few shots, and then I smoked a little bit, and I remember I was hanging out with a friend of mine. His name is Nas. Shout out Nas. We were in a hallway and we were talking to each other, like crossfaded, basically.
Yeah.
Not Schmiz, Wavy. There we go. We was Wavy. So we was in a hall talking by the little vending machines, and I don't know what you put the quarter in, and I don't remember what that's called. But we saw a girl down the hall. I'm not gonna say her name, but she came out the door and she's an emotional drunk, so she was crying. And she was like belligerently crying. So me and Nas are dying laughing, like it's uncontrollable because we're crossfaded.
Yeah.
We wavy. You understand? Because we wavy, we can't control the fact that, like, we shouldn't be laughing, but we laughing. This shit is hilarious. So then she looks at us and she asks us, "Are you laughing at me?" And literally starts chasing us down the hotel hallway, bro. Down the hotel hallway. And me and him are laughing, dying laughing, running down the hallway. And I lie to you not. This is my first time ever being high, and I was drunk at the same time. The hallway was extending as I was running. It was. So I'm like running, dying laughing, looking at an extending hallway. And I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is going on? But I wasn't like out of it. It wasn't like a crazy experience. It was a hilarious, best high drunk I've ever had in my life. And I was like, what, 18? It was amazing, bro. That was the first time.
Wow.
And it had been a while again after that. The second time, which really locked it in for me, I had a roommate, Momo, and he smoked a lot. So I smoked with him sometimes in his room, and one time he brought a bong, and that was it. That was it. Once because I had smoked blunts and papers before. Once I hit the bong, that was it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was yeah. I ate like a whole pie of Domino's. You see me. I ate a whole pie. I was like, yeah, slept, woke up, had no class the next day. I was like, yeah, this is the one. This is it. And since then, on and off sometimes, little breaks here and there. But yeah, and then I cut out blunts. I don't really do bowls anymore, bongs here and there, but mainly combs, papers.
nice.
As we did earlier, of course. Yeah, man.
What was your college experience like?
I talk about this with my peeps from NJIT a lot now. Like, it was cool in the beginning when I did EOP, like my freshman year, I say my sophomore year. Once I got locked into music, though, I started going outside of school a lot because the guys were outside of school. So it's like I wasn't as involved as I probably wish I would have been. And certain things I was, like, I had friendships, but maybe I could have been more involved in college. Other than that, though, like with the parties, with some of the stuff that I did go to, I thought it was great. I thought it was going to be shitty because NJIT seemed like a small college at the time. It was just mainly math and technology based. But I had a blast. Like, it actually was fun. I spent 5-6 years. I switched majors from chemical engineering to theater arts and technology, and took an extra year and a half. Took a semester off because of the whole music thing, trying to give that a shot, and that was during the whole South by Southwest thing too. So like one of my spring semesters. Yeah, dude, I would say like it was a crazy ass experience because I almost didn't finish because of the music thing, in vain at that. So I'm glad that I remained focused and finished, and now I still hang out with the peeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all like circle back around. I get to come back and make memories still. And I think that that's valuable to me. You know what I mean? I wish I had more back then, but college was still, it could have been more lit. I didn't get nobody pregnant, so yeah. You feel me? Yeah, man.
Yeah. What drew you to like chemistry and science?
I love it. Even now still. It's just interesting. Physics too. The idea of how things, the science of how things move, how things exist. Like everything around us is a chemical combination, chemical reaction of some sort. Even crazier, everything around us is a thought. You know what I mean? Like somebody thought of this, and then they made that shit. And that's like a bunch of chemicals and shit. So it's just when you break down life like that, or when you look at life like that, or when you read some shit like The Alchemist, or when you learn about alchemy in general and like how elements and shit can change, quote unquote. I don't think this is like a real thing, but the science or the fake science of alchemy is like just interesting shit. But when I was younger, I either wanted to be an archaeologist or like a mad scientist with the crazy hair and a lab jacket. Like I told my mom, like that was it. They bought me chemistry sets and all of that shit when I was a kid. So like it's just interesting. It's life at the end of the day. So it's good to know, I think. Better to understand. Good to know, better to understand.
Is there anything you're getting into specifically right now?
In terms of science?
Or just like look at it, yeah, do you like get curious about documentaries or shit or like research shit?
Right now, mainly space stuff. I mean, I can't even begin to like, now I feel like all of the shows and like the general conversation is around the multiverse. For some reason. So it's been coming up a lot more within like the past 5 years, half decade to decade. And I'm like, okay, I see, you know, I guess that this may be a real thing possibly. If you ask me, I think it makes 100% sense. But to explain it, I would have to go into vast, deep conversation. And I don't think that this is the right place for that. But space is just like this super abyss of unknowns, and I'm like, yo, we are just like a speck compared to everything else when you really think about it. And I'm like, what is this really? You know what I mean? When you think about space, what is all of this? How are we floating? Blah, blah, blah. Just like constants and different things that we will never get answers to, unfortunately. But that's the most interesting thing. I think it's spread into that now. Yeah.
Nice. Outside of science, what are some like arts that excite you and influence you? Like outside of music and science.
Well, we talked about dance. Like I think hip hop dance. I saw a lot of church and gospel dancing when I grew up, so that was an influence as well. But mainly hip hop. Certain movies that I saw, I would say. I learned a little bit about classical when I was younger, so I mean, dances like that. I would say like the waltz is probably the one that I can remember that is like really stuck in my head, like I actually know how to do. What else? Dance is really a big one. If we could talk about paintings, I think that my favorite artist, wow, I don't even really, because you have paintings and you have pictures, and I'm more like digital, like everybody else is now. I can't really put my thumb or my finger on a specific artist. Like I really like the water paintings of Van Gogh. I really, really love those. Like I have, I think it's a Starry Night. I can't recall if that's the name. Forgive me, I'm high as well, so like I'm like I'm spacious right now. But I really enjoy like Van Gogh's paintings because I don't. Again, we talked about interpretation of art earlier. Like the way you see it is the way you see it, but just it's like a dreary, gloomy, droopy look. But at the same time, it's very pretty because of the colors. It's dark at the same time. It's my kind of art. Like I said, I'm like R&B, sentimental, hip hop-ish. So when you get into like the dark feeling type stuff, I can roam in that realm too, very much. And I like that type of art. Yeah.
Nice. What would you say is your favorite place to escape to?
My car.
Nice.
Just a drive, and that's whether I like one or not. It depends on what I throw on. Sometimes I might drive with no music. A lot of times I drive with music. I might listen to something that just came out, to hear it on the speakers. I might listen to something I just made to see how it sounds. Try to mix it a little bit better. I might listen to like frequencies or something like that, just to like different types of vibes or whatever. Lo-fi. But the drive in the car is like an escape. I feel like it's the one place where if you go in there by yourself, you can isolate yourself and just think. And I really enjoy driving as well too, like just in general. So it's like the perfect place for me. Yeah.
Nice. What's the movie that more people need to know about?
Ex Machina.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
I like that movie a lot. That movie pulled my brain the entire time. It pulled at my brain strings the entire time. And I was trying to just figure out like who's on whose side and what is going to be the outcome of this AI. You know, like it's a simple movie if you're not really into like sci-fi, but even then it's just multiple perspectives clashing and trying to see who's going to dominate out of the three when two of them are an experiment. And one of them is supposed to be a constant, I suppose. It kind of switches around a little bit, you know what I mean? So yeah. I like that movie a whole lot. Is there anything another one that I can think of? That's my number one. I always say that when people ask me because that's one of my actual favorite movies. I haven't seen Scent of a Woman in a long time, but that was a good one for me when I was younger. I watched that a lot with my father. I believe, is that Robert De Niro?
Or Al Pacino?
Al Pacino. Yeah. I can't recall at the moment, but Scent of a Woman is one that's popping up in my head.
Nice.
I'll leave it at those two. I feel like, yeah, those mainly.
Are you a show guy? Do you watch TV shows?
I'm a sports guy.
Sports guy.
Yeah,
all right.
Hell yeah.
What sports do you watch?
Mainly basketball, dude. I watch soccer sometimes with my pops because that's his traditional sport. But basketball is like my beloved. Like I played it. I played in high school. I played in college. Not before college, but I played it like in college, like intramural, AAU, through high school. So basketball is my baby, like forever and ever.
What are you most anticipating about this NBA season?
Can I give you a list of things?
Yeah, for sure.
LeBron James surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in scoring record because he's going to become the number one while still playing. And that is going to be ceremonious, quite literally. Let me see. The Brooklyn Nets, that's my squad.
Hell yeah.
I wish they were still in New Jersey, but you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to seeing. I was watching their day one media day today, or practice media media training day, sorry. And I watched Kyrie speak. I didn't watch Kevin yet. I watched Ben speak recently on JJ Redick's podcast.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I'm in tune with like their mentalities, what they're thinking, and I'm very, very excited to see those three guys come together because Ben Simmons is heavily slept on. And Kyrie Irving was being a bitch last season. And I say that with all love because
so much love.
I know it sounds crazy. I say it with so much love because I truly, truly love Kyrie. I used to have posters of him on my wall, and I think he's an amazing influence. But I'm just calling him a bitch because that's some Jersey shit. And then we have Kevin, of course, who is arguably the number one player in the league. Although LeBron's still in the league, Kevin is a savage of a man. And I'm excited to see that big three together. Ben is going to have a huge influence on them offensively and defensively. So Brooklyn Nets, I would say, seeing if Steph Curry can repeat, because that's like he's amazing. Number 4, Zion Williamson returning to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Hell yeah,
that's number 4 for me.
In my second team.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how Zion performs this year. He's lost a lot of weight, he's slimmed back up, and he's a powerhouse of a basketball player. And he's very underrated as well, much more skilled than people think he is.
Still so young.
Very young, 22.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He could still be in college.
You know what I'm saying? With a $200 million contract, and he's essentially a 6'6", 270-pound point guard. That's how I feel that can dunk and maybe not shoot as well, but he's a savage of a man as well. And then number 5 for me, my top 5, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Nigerian, the prince that returns home, the king that returns home from overseas. That's what his last name means. I'm very excited to see him perform this year for the Bucks and see what he can do as well. That's my top 5, man.
All right, I'm about it.
Yes,
I'm about it. I like the prophecies for the Nets.
Hell
for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we need that. I think it's possible.
What don't you think Americans understand about the real football?
The real football. It is. You can lose your life over it as a player. It's very serious. I don't know what goes on in sports here. I know that we have conspiracies, and I know that we have people who do illegal things in terms of money. But in terms of football, worldwide, people have lost their lives over scores. So that's a much more serious thing than people understand. It's a huge. It's like the Coliseum back in the day almost, but it's literally worldwide. We all bring everybody together and we go to war, quote unquote, to see who's the best. People bet, and it gets real aggressive sometimes. So God bless everybody, of course. You know what I mean. But football is a serious, serious sport. And it's also the second most. No, I argue between basketball and football. Maybe I'm biased towards basketball because I play it more. But I think that between basketball and soccer, they're the 1 and 2 most technical and difficult sports to play. You have to use your feet, literally. You can't use anything else. You can use your chest. You can't use your hands, the things that you use every day to touch and grab and move things. You just walk with these. But to have to kick and be foot-eye coordination, because hand-eye coordination is, I think it's more simple. It's closer to your eyes. You're looking at them. They're in your view. Whereas this, you got to look down. You got to catch. You got to be able to not crash into somebody. It's just pacing. Endurance is another thing. The technicalities of tricks, being able to shift your body certain ways, the wear and tear it has on your body and your knees too. Between those two sports, they're like the most technical, and you need the most endurance, and they probably have a lot of cost on your body without necessarily being the most banging physical sport. and then we can talk about football all day. Not that I'm a big fan of football, but in terms of like the belligerent combativeness, that's like at a scale of 1,000. On the scale of 1 to 10, it's on a 1,000. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you play football?
I did when I was younger. I got more attracted to basketball because it's just something about the sound of the basketball going through the net, nothing but net. That's way more attractive, and it's safer. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that. Basketball is a way safer sport. If you don't wanna get hurt too bad or have injuries, crazy injuries, play basketball. You will get injured if you play professional. It's inevitable no matter what sport you do. But basketball is a lot more friendly to your body.
And now that you're legally high, have you legally placed sports bets?
Yes, 100%. And have I legally won any sports bets? Legally, no. Not one. I have not won one. I've split parlay. I've done everything. I haven't won any. My brother has won a lot. And I don't know how. Whatever. I don't even want to get into that conversation. I've lost a lot of money. Mm-hmm.
You are somebody who works in computers. Do you worry about AI?
Ah, shit. Yes. Because, okay, let's be real. Information is available at its largest capacity today. And artificial intelligence will be able to access information no matter